Hello and welcome to the yet another episode of the election series on Drishti IAS English. I am Aisha and Mr. Narendra Modi has again been chosen to serve as the Prime Minister of India for the third consecutive term. So India has again chosen Narendra Modi as the Prime Minister of India. And with this, the portfolio allocation has also been done, the much awaited portfolio allocation. And next big thing in line is to see that who will be given one of the most respectful and one of the most important positions in the Lok Sabha, and that is the position of the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. And in today's episode, we will be knowing everything about the Speaker of the Lok Sabha, which is very, very important from the exam perspective and also in the democracy of this nation. So let's begin. Lok Sabha Speaker. So after the Lok Sabha results, the post of Lok Sabha Speaker becomes the topic of discussion, and it needs to be seen that who will be given this prestigious post. And the speaker's post becomes more important, especially when the government is facing a tight no confidence motion on the floor of the house, because it is the Lok Sabha Speaker which, if someone is sitting on this post, then this post will be performing few of the most important functions of this democracy. And if we talk about India's parliament, then if we talk about India's parliament, then we have Lok Sabha and we have Rajya Sabha. So the one who will be presiding the Lok Sabha is the speaker, and the one who will be presiding the Rajya Sabha is the chairman. And then we have deputy speaker, and in Rajya Sabha we have deputy chairman. But if we talk about from the respect of the position and powers, then out of all, it is the speaker who has the most power and who is considered to be very, very powerful. Now let's see why is this position so important and so special. So the office of the speaker in India is a living and dynamic institution which deals with the actual needs and problems of the parliament in the performance of these functions. And it is called living and dynamic institution as because of the reason dynamic, because it looks into the extremely different aspects. Like for example, you can say that it also decides on the money bill, it presides the joint sitting of the house and many other things also. And it is considered living because it is ever evolving. If there is any kind of urgency, then it is the Speaker of the Lok Sabha who looks into the matters and tries to solve it. Then Article 93 of the Constitution provides for the election of both the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker. So it is the Article 93 of the Indian Constitution which talks about the election of the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker in the Lok Sabha. So whenever I say the term Speaker, automatically it should come to your mind and it should strike your mind that I am talking from the respect of Lok Sabha. Then the Speaker is the constitutional and ceremonial head of the lower house of the parliament. Lower house of the parliament means the Lok Sabha and the upper house of the parliament means the Rajya Sabha. So the constitutional and ceremonial head of the Lok Sabha is the Speaker, because it is the Speaker who heads the Lok Sabha. Now history about the post of the Speaker. So the institution of Speaker and Deputy Speaker, it originated in India in the year 1921 under the provisions of the Government of India Act 1919, and the Government of India Act 1990 is also known by which name? It is the Montagu-Chelmsford Reforms. So Government of India Act 1919, also known as the Montagu-Chelmsford Reforms. Through this act, the institution of Speaker and Deputy Speaker, it originated in India. Important point can be asked in the examination. Then at that point of time, the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker were called the President and Deputy President, and some nomenclature continued till 1947. So during the time of the 1919, the term which is now called the speaker and the deputy speaker, at that point of time they were known as the president and the deputy president. So during the time of 1919, speaker and deputy speaker were known as the president and deputy president. And the Government of India Act of 1935 changed the nomenclature of president and deputy president to speaker and deputy speaker. So see, very important point. You should know that this nomenclature of president, deputy president started from which act? That is the Government of India Act 1919, also known as the Montagu-Chelmsford reforms. So if it asks, and this nomenclature was changed to speaker and deputy speaker by the Government of India Act of 1935. Two important points, get it very clear in your head. Government of India Act 1919 and Government of India Act 1935. It is the Government of India Act 1935 which made it speaker and deputy speaker. Now the office of the Lok Sabha speaker. So the Lok Sabha, which is the highest legislative body in the country, and it is known as the highest legislative body in the country because on the state level it is the Legislative Assembly and the Legislative Council, and on the national level it is the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, and between the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha it is the Lok Sabha which has more power, and specifically with regard to the money bill, and that is why it is known as the highest legislative body, because it is the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha which forms the legislation of this country. Then in the country chooses its speaker who presides over the day-to-day functioning of the house. So it is the speaker of the Lok Sabha which presides over the house. Then electing the speaker of the Lok Sabha is one of the first acts of the every newly constituted house. So see, now that the new government has been formed, so the first thing that the new government does, first of all the Prime Minister takes the oath, then the portfolio distribution is being done. But as soon as this is done and the new government is formed, the first step that they take is they choose a speaker. So firstly, there is a pro tem speaker which is chosen, but that is chosen only for a very, very selected period of time, and that is for temporary period of time. But after the pro tem speaker, it is the speaker who is chosen. Then the date of election of the speaker is fixed by the president. So the election on which, the date at which the election of the speaker will be done will be chosen by the president. Then election criteria. So what is the election criteria for the Lok Sabha speaker? Then the Constitution of India requires the speaker should be a member of the house. It means that the person who will be chosen as the speaker of the Lok Sabha, speaker of the house, needs to be a member of the Lok Sabha. Then although there are no specific qualifications prescribed for being elected the speaker, be very clear about this. Specific qualifications is not being mentioned. These kind of statements can be given in the examination to trick you. So there are no specific qualifications prescribed for being elected as the speaker. An understanding of the constitution and the laws of the country is considered a major asset. So specific qualifications is not being given. Then usually a member belonging to the ruling party is elected as speaker. Be very, very clear. It is not written compulsorily. It is written usually. The party who has won the election, a person from that party who is a member of the Lok Sabha is chosen as the speaker. But that is by convention. It is not given in the constitution, and it cannot be like anyone else cannot be chosen as the speaker. So it is usually that a person from the ruling party is selected as the speaker. Then the process has evolved over the years where the ruling party nominates its candidate after informal consultations with the leaders of other parties and groups in the house. So it is the ruling party who nominate the candidate for the post of the speaker of the Lok Sabha. Then this convention ensures that once elected, the speaker enjoys the respect of all sections of the house. And how the voting is being done? So the speaker along with the deputy speaker is elected from among the Lok Sabha. So the person who is elected as the speaker and the deputy speaker needs to be from the Lok Sabha and needs to be a member of the Lok Sabha by a simple majority of members present and voting in the house. So simple majority means that the members who are present in the house, they vote. So by a simple majority of members present and voting in the house. Then once a decision on the candidate is taken, his or her name is normally proposed by the Prime Minister or the Ministers of Parliamentary Affairs. So the Prime Minister proposes the name of the candidate for the post of the speaker. Then what is the term of office of the speaker? That what is the tenure? Then the speaker holds office from the date of her election till immediately before the first meeting of the next Lok Sabha. So ideally you can say that it is 5 years, but it is not that. See, now that situation I am giving you, now that a new government has been formed. So there is earlier Lok Sabha was there and now new formation of government has taken place. So new speaker will be chosen, but speaker does not vacate the house like other ministers or other MPs. Speaker remains in office till the time the new speaker is not chosen. So you can say that the speaker vacates the seat of the speaker immediately before, immediately before the first meeting of the next Lok Sabha. So till that time the next Lok Sabha meeting has not taken place where a pro tem speaker gets elected, till that time the previous speaker remains in office. Because if the speaker will not be a part of the office, then it will all the functions of the Lok Sabha will not be able to take place. So this is very important. If you need to say it in terms of digits, then it is 5 years, but the speaker holds office from the date of his or her election till immediately before the first meeting of the next Lok Sabha. Then the speaker once elected is eligible for re-election. So it is not that if a speaker has once been chosen cannot be re-elected, re-election can be done. Whenever the Lok Sabha is dissolved, the speaker does not vacate his office and continues till the newly elected Lok Sabha meets. So even if the Lok Sabha is dissolved, but the post of the speaker, it does not get vacated. Then roles and powers of speaker. Now, speaker is the final interpreter of the provisions of the Constitution of India, rules of the procedure and conduct of business of Lok Sabha and the parliamentary precedents within the house. So it is the speaker who will interpret the Constitution, rules of procedure and conduct of business of Lok Sabha. So it is the speaker who interprets these rules. Then in matters regarding interpretation of these provisions, the speaker often gives rulings which are respected by members and binding in nature. So the interpretation which the speaker gives is respected by all and is binding in nature. Then joint sitting of both houses. So it is the speaker who presides over the joint sitting of the two houses of the parliament. When we talk about joint sitting, it means both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha are sitting together and that joint sitting is presided over by the speaker. And such a sitting is summoned by the president to settle a deadlock between the two houses on a bill. So between the chairman and the speaker, so it is the speaker who presides over the joint sitting, and this gives an edge on the powers of the speaker or powers of Lok Sabha over Rajya Sabha. Then adjournment of sitting. The speaker can adjourn the house or suspend the meeting in absence 1/10 of the total strength of the house. So adjournment of sitting. So the session of the parliament will work when 1/10 of the members are present. and 1/10 of the presence of 1/10 of the member is known as quorum. So presence of 1/10 of the members is known as quorum, and 1/10 member needs to be present in the house so that the house can work. And if 1/10 members are not present, then adjournment of the sitting can be taken place, and it is in the hands of the speaker. Then casting vote. So speaker does not vote in the first instance, but if there is a tie, in case of a tie or a deadlock, then speaker casts his or her vote, and the vote in case of tie, if the speaker casts, then that vote is known as the casting vote. So that is the casting vote, and that is to resolve a deadlock. So first instance, no vote. In case of tie, casting vote. Then comes money bill. So it is the speaker who decides whether a bill is a money bill or not. So whether a bill is a money bill or not is decided by the speaker, and the decision which the speaker takes is final in nature. Then disqualifying members. So the disqualification of members is in the hands of the presiding officer, and in case of Lok Sabha, it is the speaker who is the presiding officer. So it is the speaker who decides the questions of disqualification of a member of the Lok Sabha presiding officer arising on the grounds of defection, and the provisions of defection is given under the 10th schedule, and 10th schedule has been added into the Constitution of India by the 52nd Amendment Act, and it is the 52nd Amendment Act who has given the presiding officer of the House the power of disqualification. And in Lok Sabha, the presiding officer is the speaker. Then in 1992, the Supreme Court ruled that the decision of the speaker with regard to the disqualification comes under judicial review. So the decision of the speaker with regard to the disqualification comes under judicial review. Then chairing the Indian Parliamentary Group, that is IPG. So speaker acts as the ex officio chairman of the Indian Parliamentary Group, and the Indian Parliamentary Group, that is the IPG, it is a link between the Parliament of India and the various parliaments of the world. Then the speaker also acts as the ex officio chairman of the Conference of Presiding Officers of legislative bodies in the country. So if there is any conference with regarding to the presiding officers of legislative bodies, then it is the speaker who presides over this conference. Now, constitution of committees. So the committees of the House are constituted by the speaker and function under the speaker's overall direction. So the presiding officer or the person who is heading the committees is the speaker. The chairman of all parliamentary committees are nominated by the speaker. So the chairman of the committees is nominated by the speaker, and committees like the Business Advisory Committee, General Purposes Committee and the Rules Committee, they work directly under the chairmanship of the speaker. So remember the Business Advisory Committee, General Purpose Committee and the Rules Committee. Now privileges of the House. The speaker is the guardian of the rights and privileges of the House, its committees and members. So privileges of the House, committees and members. Then it depends solely on the speaker to refer any question of privilege to the committee of privileges for examination, investigation and report. So it is the decision of the speaker completely whether the speaker wants to forward it or not. Then removal of speaker. So how the speaker can be removed. So when the speaker was being elected, then it was by simple majority. So removal of speaker remains in office during the life of the Lok Sabha, that is usually 5 years, but the office of the speaker is not vacated before the new term gets started. Then under following conditions, the speaker may have to vacate the office earlier. So these conditions are: if he ceases to be a member of the Lok Sabha, if he is not a member of the Lok Sabha, if he resigns by writing to the deputy speaker, if he is removed by a resolution passed by majority of all the members of the Lok Sabha. And notification is that such a resolution can be moved only after giving a 14 days notice, and that notice is a advance notice. Then independence and impartiality. So as the office of the speaker is vested with great prestige, position and authority, independence and impartiality becomes its sine qua non. That is, it goes hand in hand. He is provided with a security of tenure, and that becomes very important because of the independence and impartiality for the position of the speaker. That is security of tenure. He can be removed only by a resolution passed by the Lok Sabha by a special majority, and that special majority is known as the effective majority. And effective majority means, like for example, if there are 545 members in Lok Sabha, and out of these 545, 540 members are present. So out of these 540 members who are present, they need to vote, and then that vote needs to pass. So members present have to vote. So by a special majority, that is majority of all the then members of the house, all the then members of the house present and voting, and not by an ordinary majority. Okay, so it is effective majority. So when he was getting elected, simple majority. On the case of removal, it is effective majority. Then the motion for removal can be considered and discussed only when it has a support of at least 50 members. So in starting, only 50 members support is needed. Then a 14 days advance notice is needed. Then that needs to be moved by the special majority, that is the effective majority. Then the salary and allowances of the speaker is fixed by the parliament. Then they are charged on the consolidated fund of India and are not subject to the annual vote of parliament. Consolidated fund of India, and they are fixed by the parliament. And the work and conduct cannot be discussed. It cannot be discussed and criticized in the Lok Sabha except on the substantive motion. So if the work and conduct of the speaker needs to be evaluated and is questioned, then it has to be through the substantive motion. Then the powers of regulating procedure or conducting business or maintaining order in the house are not subject to the jurisdiction of any court. Be very particular about the term any court. District court, high court, supreme court. It is not subject to the jurisdiction of any court. Very, very important. Regulating procedure or conducting business or maintaining order in the house. Maintaining order, conducting business and regulating procedure cannot be discussed in any court. Then he cannot vote, the speaker cannot vote in the first instance. In case of tie, the casting vote can be done, and this makes the position of the speaker impartial. Then on one of the most important times when a speaker's impartiality impacts the opposition is when a motion of no confidence is moved against the government. So in case of the no confidence motion, also the role of speaker becomes important. Then he is given a very high position in the order of precedence. And the order of precedence, the speaker is placed at the 7th rank, and 7th rank the speaker shares with the Chief Justice of India, and this tells the importance of the post of speaker in Indian democracy. And he has a higher rank than all cabinet ministers except the Prime Minister or the Deputy Prime Minister. So except the Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister, the speaker is above all ministers in the order of precedence. Then role of speaker in other countries. So if we talk about Britain, then speaker is strictly a non-party man. So speaker is a non-party man, while in India, speaker is a member of the Lok Sabha. And there is a convention that speaker has to resign from his party and remain politically neutral. While in India, the speaker needs to be a member of the Lok Sabha to be at that position. Then this healthy convention is not fully established in India, where the speaker does not resign from the membership of his party. And then important fact about speaker. So first of all, difference between Britain speaker and Indian speaker. Britain speaker is a non-party man. Indian speaker is a member, needs to be a member of the Lok Sabha. And then in Britain, the person who is elected as the speaker has to resign from his party and remain politically neutral. That is not the case in India. Now, important facts about speaker. The first Lok Sabha speaker was G.V. Mavlankar. First woman speaker was Meera Kumar. And Sanjeev Neelam Reddy or Neelam Sanjeeva Reddy is the only speaker since independence who, after assuming the office of speaker, formally resigned from his political party. So he was the only speaker who has resigned from his party, and he also had the distinction of being the only speaker who was later unanimously elected as the president of the India. So only speaker who was also elected as the president of India, and then only speaker who resigned from his political party to take the office. So this was about the important facts about the speaker of the Lok Sabha. So we almost discussed the important facts, role of speaker in other countries. Then we looked into the various provisions of the speaker, like for example, independence and impartiality, removal, privileges of the House, constitution of committees, chairing the IPG, disqualification, casting vote, money bill, joint sitting, adjournment, motion, and then roles and powers of speaker. Then it was about the election criteria of speaker. Then office of the Lok Sabha speaker, its history about the Lok Sabha speaker. So this was all from our side regarding the speaker of the Lok Sabha. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Till we meet next time. Keep reading, keep writing, and keep subscribing to the channel. Thank you.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.